Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Darren. I'm Joel.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Mimi.
I'm the Veggie Funkle.
I'm Grammy.
I'm Megan.
I'm Grandpa. And we're some of the Veggie Boys.
And girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by.
We got one big job first thing though this morning.
What's that?
Grammy needs her grinder so she can do her apple butter.
Ooh, okay.
Of course, she did not take yesterday off. She decided she was going to do apple butter yesterday.
Oh, exciting. Welcome back, everyone. It's so nice to see you. As you can see, it is raining at the moment, but that is not going to stop us today. We are now down inside the farm market. Now, unlike last video, the farm market is going to be open today. Oh, yeah, Dad was right. She was down here cooking up her apples for apple butter. But I guess now that we're moving into December, apple butter starts to get really popular. So it'll be flying off the shelves. And since we're going to be open today, that means we need to get started on setting up the farm market. So first things first, I'm going to clean off our shelves, get our floor swept, and then we'll pull everything out. And there we have it. The farm market is now set up. Since we weren't open yesterday, we did not need to go to the wholesaler today. We had plenty of stuff in the cooler. And as we do every morning, I went over everything to see how fresh it was, and everything looks really good. Farm market is all set up, so now I'm working my way down to the animals. At some point today, one of us is gonna have to drive and pick up something from John Deere. But besides that, we don't have too much different going on. I'm trying to feed chickens, but the feed doesn't come out too well because the screen that we use when we grind is real small, so that we can grind up the feed small enough for the chickens. Mixed with that and some other stuff that we add to the feed, it just never wants to come out of the bin. We just got the chickens fed. We got all their eggs collected. We've been having something interesting go on lately. Up in front of the farm market, we've had a hawk that's been hanging around, and it was always really cool to see because he'd sit out on the pallets in front of the farm market. But this is the first time I've seen him down in by the chickens. So with that in mind, we're gonna have to keep a close watch on our chickens. I don't know, he flew right over top of the chickens and perched himself. I don't know, we just gotta watch him. Just don't want him killing my chickens. I'm so happy we installed these lights inside this barn. It makes it a lot easier to see the calves when they are in the back. Now, we call them calves. They're a little on the larger side. We try and leave them in the greenhouses till they're decent size. And from what I've seen, they've been growing, which is really important. Now, I've actually got something pretty interesting on the farm that we've been working on. We have 2 cows that have had a calf, and we have 1 heifer that we're looking to breed this year. So we're looking for next fall to have 3 calves born on the farm. Now, for a lot of people, this might not be a big deal. Cow-calf operation is very normal. And when I was really young, we actually had a cow-calf operation here. It was one of my dad's favorite things about farming. He loved his cow-calf operation. However, at the time, there was a lot of things going on. It wasn't easy for us to keep the operation running, especially when all us kids were really little. They didn't have the help that they needed. They moved more into the vegetable side of farming because that was something that was easier and more cost effective for them to do at the time. But now, as we've gotten older and we've needed more revenues of income to keep all the kids on the farm, the cow-calf operation was always an idea that kept coming up. And we're not jumping right in the pool. We're kind of like dipping our toe, and I think now we're like half our foot is in the water, because we're gonna have 3 mothers next year. Wonderful opportunity for us to learn, and an opportunity for us here at the Veggie Boys and at the farm to grow a little bit more, and I'm excited. And one of the main driving points behind this cow-calf operation is the difference that we see in a calf that's with its mom as opposed to what we bring home from a dairy farm. Now, the calves that we bring home, they're beautiful. And we get to raise them, we get to play with them when they're really young, but they don't grow as fast and they don't grow as nice as a calf that is on its mother. So if all things go accordingly, and we all want it to go accordingly, cow-calf operation is something that we'll probably be working with in the future. And it might be a few years down the road, it could be 10 years down the road. But for now, it's just an exciting thought. Now, this morning has gone a little bit quicker than some other mornings. We did have to butcher some chickens, which we already got taken care of. And now it's lunchtime, so we're gonna head up and eat. Now, because it is the day after a holiday, we're not expecting it to be too busy. And that's just from past experiences. From what we've seen over the last couple years, that's the way it's been. We just reason everybody had such a great time that they're taking it easy the day after. However, we still do get customers showing up. So it's always important to open the day after. Check this out. What kind of strombolis are they?
These are beefsteak.
Beefsteak?
These are ham cheese.
Oh my. If you guys could smell this kitchen. Woo-wee. Lunch was really, really good. But now I'm working my way out to the harvester because I need to pick up a part today. Up inside the bin is a bolt that I need for the swing auger. Dad was harvesting and he hit it off a tree, which broke the bolt and some other stuff, but we got everything else fixed. That's fine. The only thing we need is the bolt, and you can't just get any old bolt. So I'm gonna have to run out to John Deere and pick up that bolt. Now, for us where we live, there's not too many John Deere places where we could get this bolt from, so I'm gonna have to go on a little drive, which is kind of unfortunate. There's plenty of stuff to do around here, but gotta do what you gotta do. Got my part. That was no problem at all. Now there's something I want to look at quick. I could really plant some peppers with this thing. Imagine all the cabbage we could get planted. I think we need it. I really like to sit in it, but it's locked, unfortunately. Oh well, that was exciting. Time to go home. Here we go. This is what I like to see. Look at all this stuff. Oh my goodness, those are some beautiful tedders. I'm just trying to see if they have any rock buckets here, and I also look to see if there's any like old used rock pickers. Every time I go somewhere, I try and see if I can find one. I don't see any rock buckets around. Well, it's looking kind of dark out. I don't know if it's gonna start raining again. It was raining this morning, but the rain has held off this afternoon. Just looking like it's gonna rain again. I am now home. I've got my part. I'm bringing it down to the farm market. While I was gone, I know the boys were working on hauling some grain. We gave the local mill a call because we weren't sure if they were going to be accepting grain the day after Thanksgiving, but they were, so we decided to take a few loads. Because I wasn't here, I don't know how far they've gotten, but I remember when I was leaving, I saw the truck being loaded up. At the moment, I am in the farm market and I'm helping out, which really isn't saying much. The farm market has not been too busy this afternoon. And that's not a terrible thing because it has been really busy this past week. So now that we have some time to just cool off a little bit, that's really nice. Because we are going from one holiday into another. This upcoming month, there's gonna be a lot of baking. Cookies, for example, there's gonna be a lot of cookies being made. And that's a lot of work on everybody. Well, I found out not only were they delivering grain this afternoon, they actually went and picked up a calf from one of the dairy farms. How'd the calf look, Darren?
Look very good.
That's what we like to hear. It's actually feeding time here on the farm, so we're gonna get started on that. Something we were just discussing, we need to start thinking about what we're going to be ordering when it comes to vegetable seed. We got a lot of information to look over, and we got a lot of varieties to look at because there may be some new things we want to try, and there may be some older varieties we want to move on from. I know with tomatoes this year, we tried a new variety that worked pretty well for us. And we had some pepper varieties that were really, really good. We had some others that weren't living up to expectations. But that's the best part. You can always try over next year. So how did picking up the calf go?
Well, when you have a professional, everything goes easy.
What would your dad think if we called you the professional beef farmer?
You would probably think you're crazy.
For those of you that do not remember, this is our cousin Darren. He lives on a farm about 45 minutes away from here. They raise some cattle, they raise some chickens just like us, and then they also do some grain farming.
I don't do vegetables.
Why? What's your problem with vegetables?
Why do I want to be bent over all day?
So how was your trip to the mill?
No, trip to the mill was not good. The truck's not working right. We got some kind of fuel issue and I can't figure it out.
We've been dealing with this fuel issue for quite some time. We've had multiple people look at the truck, and every single person that's looked at the truck has told us, hey, we fixed it. And then we have the same issues. Since we didn't really have anything special going on today, I have a little treat for you guys. We're actually going to be interviewing my dad. Over the past couple years, we've had a lot of questions asked on the channel, and some of them have been directed to my dad. So today we're gonna ask my dad a few of those questions. All right, first question for you, Dad. What was the first job you started doing on the farm?
I don't know if I remember the first job I started doing on the farm. All I remember is my mom telling me that she'd put me in a car seat and hook me on the rail when they were milking cows.
Okay, so I guess milking cows was your first job. But as a kid, what was your most memorable job on the farm?
I don't know what my most memorable job is. I enjoy all aspects of farming. I enjoy taking care of the animals, so probably taking care of animals is what I remember most.
We had mentioned how the farm has changed throughout the generations. What was it like living on a pig farm, and how many pigs did you have?
My dad had a couple disasters in farming. He had the dairy barn burnt in the late 60s, and then they had 2 severe droughts, which one year they harvested nothing, and then the next year they only got a part of a crop. So he started working off the farm, and he sold portions of the farm off. And he was working off the farm, and a guy owed him some money. So somehow we ended up with 20 pigs. After we got these 20 pigs, we had them for about a month. These guys show up in suits and ties, and they said that they needed those pigs back. They were some kind of special breed that they were breeding, and they needed them back. My dad had a bill of sale for him and was paid for a debt. He says he wasn't giving them back. So then he started breeding pigs. So eventually we ended up with 3 groups of 40 mother pigs having babies, because we'd have babies every 2 months. We'd have a group of 40 having babies, and then we were feeding them out to butcher. So we had close to 2,000 pigs on the farm.
Now, when you had 2,000 pigs on the farm, did you enjoy that farming?
Well, it's not that I didn't enjoy it. We spent 3-4 hours a day in the barn just feeding animals and taking care of them, because we were having baby pigs, so they needed a lot of attention. I enjoyed the field work, but that was only seasonal. And I did a lot of grinding feed. So when I was young, my dad sent me to a lot of classes where I learned about nutrition and different things. So I learned about that, and I took care of grinding all the feed rations and everything as I grew up through my teenage years and through school.
Now, things on the farm changed when you were a little bit older. When our grandfather passed away, what happened with the farm?
Well, when my father got sick and passed away there, I was only 21, so I was quite young, but I knew I wanted to farm. I had an opportunity to go to school and play football, and I didn't do that. I ended up staying home with my father, which I was very thankful for. So I learned a lot about what needed to be done on how to run the farm. When I was 21, my dad died, and my sister Rhonda was, I guess she was like 19, 20, and she helped here on the farm. And then my youngest sister, Dawn, which is Joel's mom, she helped on the farm here too. So we ended up all working together.
So how did you get from taking care of animals to raising vegetables now?
Well, that's kind of interesting. I told my mom, I said that, I really didn't enjoy spending all the time in the barn. I liked the field work. So we decided to get rid of all the pigs, and then we would just crop farm. So we had seasonal work. We just didn't have enough acres to crop farm. And this was in the late 80s, where farming was kind of rough. So mid to late 80s, farming was kind of rough. So we just couldn't make a go of it that way. One day I was looking in a local farm paper. There was an ad for people to raise tomatoes and peppers for the local cannery. So we thought, well, maybe we'll start raising tomatoes and peppers. We can pick tomatoes and peppers, and so then we started raising them.
Now, you only raised for the cannery a short period of time. Why did you stop raising for the cannery?
Well, we were picking tractor trailer loads of tomatoes and peppers, and our location grows really nice tomatoes and peppers. So we were able to grow a good tonnage, and we made good money raising for the cannery. But as we had trailer loads of tomatoes and peppers sitting here, people would stop in and say, hey, can we get a couple baskets for canning or for freezing? And we say, well, they're under contract, we can't sell them. So then eventually we started raising a little bit to sell, and we put a little stand up, roadside stand. And my sister-in-law took care of the roadside stand for us then.
So then you started with the roadside stand, and then it went into a larger market. But how did things change when you started having kids?
I don't know if things changed when we started having kids. They just happened to come along. I can't figure out how that happened or when they started, but eventually they were here.
Yeah, I could see how that could happen. But how did we end up in this building we're in right now?
Well, we ended up in this building because we again had a big barn. We had a chicken barn that was here, and we had a barn fire. And we took the insurance money from the barn fire and built this building that we have today. So we were able to build it and not owe anything on it. So that was very helpful.
So that's how we got this building. But how did we end up in the greenhouse business? Because that's one of our biggest things, selling flowers, selling plants, and raising other stuff in the greenhouses.
We got in the greenhouse business by, they were shipping our vegetable plants too early. We live in a cold valley, and we couldn't plant them right away. So we ended up trying to hold them, and we had some issues. So then they told us, hey, we'll get you, put up a little greenhouse, grow your own plants. So we did that, and eventually it ended up that my mom says we should plant some flowers, some marigolds, some pansies, some petunias, and eventually it just grew into what we have today.
Now we do have someone else that's going to be in the interview. My Uncle Trey was a big reason why the farm we have today is so successful. So we're going to ask him one or two questions. So the first question is, how did you end up on the farm?
I grew up on a dairy farm over on the neighbor road. Got to meet Brian and Rhonda and everybody else here. Began to hang around with them, go swimming. And then as I got older and graduated, this was like my family, so I just ended up staying here.
Now, what were some of the jobs that you helped with on the farm growing up?
You know, there was a lot of different things we did. It was from the time we started with the pigs, it was feeding pigs, taking care of pigs. And then as we continually grew into a vegetable farm, it was just taking care of different odds and ends. Could have been the greenhouse, could have been picking vegetables, could have been picking cucumbers, everybody's favorite, pickles. Being bent over all the time. So it was just we did a variety of things. Whatever we had to do to keep the farm going was the important thing.
So between my dad and my uncle and all the other family members here, it's been a whole group effort to get to what we have today. And we're very thankful for what we have. And that's why it may be confusing for some why we're all so close together. But none of what we have today would be possible if it wasn't for each and every one of us. Now, because I filmed these videos a little bit in advance, I won't be able to see if you have any extra questions for Dad or Uncle Trey, the Veggie Funkle. But if you do have more questions for him, leave them down in the comments and we'll be happy to answer them later on. And if you'd like to interview anybody else on the farm, also let me know down in the comments. We spent a little more time in the farm market, and then we got everything put away. And since we're all closed up, we are heading up to the house. Oh wow, we've got a beautiful sunset on our hands tonight. We have now made it up to the house, and as you can see, there's no dinner on the table. That's because it is date night, and since it's date night, that means this is where we're gonna end the video. We would like to thank everyone for watching, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.